We can go ahead and get those picks and bans going so we can start to see what they actually do in practice. But I agree, it's felt like a lot of the times the backbreaker games in the sets are when the team gambles on like an auto ban, right? And they let it pass through and they're able to deal with it. We see a lot of the times where you gamble on the auto ban and it doesn't work though, you know, and the pick comes through and does exactly what it's supposed to do. But if you're able to sneak that win away where you let through something like a King Arthur, like a Merlin, you can get the win anyway, that could be so strong for your team. That might be what Rival's trying to do. They're gambling on getting one of those big wins when they let through something strong.
Interesting. So Achilles right away is the ban, just trying to keep it off those two metas. And now look, eUnited's kind of stuck in as a deer in the headlights. What do we want to ban in this position? We could go with something like the Fafnir. That's what Rival banned as their off ban before. I forget exactly what they banned in game 2 in that slot that ended up being, because I know they banned Freya, so they must have banned, they may have banned Achilles themselves. No, Fine played Achilles that game. I can't remember off the top of my head, but that is something where Osiris was the other ban. That's right. And so this is now a fineokay. Again, you got to get him off that pick where he looks really, really impactful.
See what it is that they look for here is now Rival have to decide. I feel like this has to be a Merlin ban at this point. I mean, because BigManTingz just looks so strong on it. eUnited are clearly comfortable picking it for themselves as well. Though you got to admit, it might be less impactful if you don't get to pair it with some of the other strong stuff they had, like the Xbalanque, as they let the Merlin through. Maybe they've decided they don't mind if BigManTingz is doing a bunch of damage in mid, as long as they've got some more control to go with it.
Wow.
But it's King Arthur for Benji instead.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we do these Dev Insight show every week, or every other week, and there was a lot of talk about how Merlin, his stats are very, very high in the win rate. King Arthur's are not, but perception is very similar for both. I'm a believer in the stats in this instance in particular. I think Merlin is far better than King Arthur in most instances. Now, eUnited, do you pick Camazotz for iceicebaby to keep it out of the hands of fineokay? What are you going to do about that? You know,
that matchup,
pretty prevalent counter matchup.
Where have we seen Yorm prioritized in this set, by the way?
Not at all.
That's kind of that's crazy to me that I'm thinking at this point that we haven't seen Yorm be higher prioritized too. I wonder if that's the response, because he kind of does a similar thing to what the Camazotz does, which is able to box him, but it's by very different means. He's able to do it because he doesn't get nearly as bullied by the ultimate. He can't be taken up into the sky, right? So that's part of why Yorm can feel good in that matchup. So I wonder if that's where Rival's planning to go, because it looks as if both teams have slept on to this point. I don't know, this has been a very interesting picks and bans through these first couple of picks, though, as a Muzen Cobb will be picked here for eUnited. And that has flex potential to me. I know Tingz maybe doesn't play a ton of hunters, but a Muzen Cobb can very easily fit in that mid lane.
Yeah, I think so too. I believe he has played a little bit in the mid lane, or at least he's played another hunter in the mid lane pretty recently. So I do think this is a good flex opportunity. eUnited, I think I'm still going for something for Kalas here. Fafnir is the call, in my mind. I mean, you pick Fafnir, that makes it that much more threatening to put this AMC in the mid lane.
At least bluff it, right?
Yeah, Fafnir is the right idea here for Kalas, I think. He just played so well on it yesterday. It was so consistent with his hammers that I think this is the right pick for them.
Well, this is very strong so far for eUnited. The Muzen Cobb, Fafnir, King Arthur, but Rival getting both the Merlin and the Jing picked up. With Xbalanque Freya out, Jing is largely considered the next best hunter because she can be just so safe there in lane. It can feel real strong late game. They also have the Merlin and put Twig right back on this Unbots pick that he played so well last game. Let him keep that groove going and provide some much needed control. I mean, if you're stuck inside that Fear No Evil and Merlin damage is coming, you don't see the other side.
No, you do not. No matter if you're a tank or not. I was going to ask for a Chronos ban. Okay, perfect. Because now this means that AMC in mid lane looks a little bit less attractive, because you can't balance out your composition between magical and physical. They said that Emilito is a Chronos one trick. Don't give him that option from that position. I really like that Chronos ban from Rival.
And now the aggressive support's being banned out from eUnited. I wonder if Fenrir might be on the table to receive a ban here too, if they're that worried after how it was played in that last game. And to be fair, PolarBearMike did make it look scary.
Yeah, but AMC has that Stinger, shuts down the Brutalize and the Leap pretty well. It wouldn't be bad, especially pre-5 against the AMC. It feels really, really good. Fafnir can transform and make you kind of stand there in your Ragnarok and look a little bit silly. I don't know. I mean, it was really, really good. I do think that I'm looking to ban something that's aggressive.
Maybe a solo laner then here? Sure.
Yeah, could be. Just something that can flex potentially. Erlong, probably not exactly where we'll see. Oh, I'm banning Camazotz here.
Camazotz could be a strong ban.
You want to take that out of the hands of fineokay.
Well, Rival continue to try and limit the options there for BigManTingz. They take away the Zeus now, and the Kronos was banned away earlier, and that was more towards Emilito. But this whole set, whenever they have the option, they've shown some attention towards limiting Ting's options in the middle lane. It is Camazot's banned away by eUnited, a strong one, as this could be a strong pick to the King Arthur. So now the question becomes, some of these picks that have floated by, we already mentioned the Jormungandr, Naja's not been particularly prioritized yet either. Could that be a strong pick here for PBM? There's a couple of these under-the-radar ones that could certainly pop up now.
Yeah, I think Naja could certainly work from this position for PBM. I definitely think he's going to go something a little bit more aggressive. He could default back to the Nox that he's played a lot and try and use that silence. And this is kind of the same idea, is shutting down this Fafnir on transformation is the big one. Fafnir on transformation is very, very, very vulnerable. Artio can lay down that cripple field easily and set themselves up nicely. Artio also great against the King Arthur. This is a flex pick that could go to fineokay or over to PBM, but I think it's perfect in either role. I love this pick.
Exactly, and so being able to punish that Fafnir when he comes back out is going to be critical. I mean, we were just talking about this the other day. I think maybe it was with Jeff or someone like that, about the safety that this Fafnir can provide and how he can, sometimes his engage can be a little weak, but he can just jump in, jump back out, and do so much for your team. But eUnited round this camp out with the Pele and the new Wa for BigManTingz. Very interesting. Some very aggressive Pele picks, and then the new Wa can try and get up into the sky for some safety.
It might not be new Wa mid, though, Finch. This might be for Emilito. He was kind of the one that started it off for Energy last year with that new Wa ADC fad that they went through. I think that might be what we're looking at here. And I don't mind it if the idea is hunters are all alone and they're getting all this farm, again, like they were then, go back to the same style of selection. I think it could be new Wa ADC, and I think I'd like that more than putting the AMC in the duo lane.
It certainly could be strong for them if he's able to get a whole bunch of time to himself, and that clear will be really strong into the Jing in particular, whose level 1 isn't the greatest in the world. It'll be difficult to keep up with what a mage can do over there, as now Rival must make their last selection. They'll commit on where they want to put this Artio here, and if it is indeed Sylvanus, then that'll be for PolarBearMike, and they'll send the Artio then over into the hands of fineokay. 2 Guardians, no Warriors for a team that ran Achilles Hercules earlier today. They're really all over the place, man.
They are, and that's hard to pick and ban against when you don't exactly know what the enemy team is going to do. This is aggressive as a Guardian in the Sylvanus. Same style of idea. AMC needs to be very careful wherever he is, whether it's mid or in the duo lane. One route into pull is going to either kill him or force his beads, and that's going to be a key factor, is how safe this AMC can stay. New Wa's in the same boat, though. I mean, you root, you pull, they're dead unless they use their ultimate.
I still find myself surprised as we're prioritizing 2 Guardians that Yorm couldn't fit anywhere in there, but these are still 2 real tough drafts. It's hard to call here, Aggro, where this one's going, so let's get ready to move right into Game 4. eUnited Rival, let's get it over to Hindu and Toli.
Thanks so much, Finch and Aggro. And honestly, I think I agree with Aggro here, Toli. I think it's going to be that new R in the duo lane. Emilito running that back. AMC against Merlin in the mid. Good pressure from AMC should help out.
Hunter versus Mage. Hunter will be able to outbox, out-clear in the early stages. And if you could put pressure on the red buff, that's how you could get the early game lead and look for more.
But the one thing you'll see from the new War, though, if it is going to be in the duo lane, it'll get a lot of farm, and that's a big key. Left alone gets the levels that you want on a mage, as well as the items too. And that means those ultimates are going to make a bigger impact as the game goes on. A little bit earlier than some teams could expect. It will be Emilito on the new War. The bigger question is, where do the supports start?
That's right. PBM, a more defensive support now in the Sylvanus, going from the Ares to the Hercules to a Fenrir. 3 aggressive gods in a row, now switching things up. He's thinking about ways to peel for his backline, allowing fineokay on the Artio to be the aggressor.
Well, if you set the trap up 3 times, so if you go for the aggression 3 times in a row, Rival will expect United to be ready, and they were, but Emilito bit off more than he could chew. Nobody else was really around as he got knocked up by Arkkyl, and that was the end of his life, as First Blood will go the way of Arkkyl, and that is actually pretty impactful in the duo lane.
Wow, what a chain CC. The route into the knock-up. I thought PBM was going to get his pull maybe, and that's why somebody was blocking everyone for Emilito not to get pulled, but it didn't matter. The squishy new wall ultimately falls. First Blood does go to Arkkyl now on the Jing way to be able to rush those Devil Gloves.
fineokay will be okay for now. He's still got PolarBearMike there with a shell just in case he requires it. But eUnited is starting to try and put the beat down on this right-hand side real quick. Knowing the fineokay just said to use his abilities defensively, it does give lane pressure even more so to eUnited there as another hammer hits from Caliph. No surprise to be saying that.
Double Guardian's not really going to win this solo lane matchup. At the left-hand side, Arkkyl trying to invade the purple buff. Going to get stopped by iceicebaby, but CaptainTwig CaptainTwig gonna show his face, but he's only level 1, not a real threat.
I think that's the best thing is Twig shows up and goes, hey guys, how's it going? And they go, oh wait, it's Twig here, but wait, he's only level 1. He needs to be careful of himself. Monkey toss into the fray from Twig just to clear the creeps. Level 2 hits, overhead smash. And iceicebaby pressured out. Rivals still have pressure in this lane though, totally too. They could look for this purple still. However, AMC's making a rotation to this fight on the left-hand side.
Uh-oh, could be problematic now if you're Rival. A little bit of damage coming from BigManTingz. Looking for the honey on the slow. Arkkyl gonna get hit even from my Emilito as iceicebaby with the last.
Yeah, just a slow mistake there from Rival, not watching the rotation of the BigManTingz from the mid lane, makes an impact and evens up the score. Twig though, getting body blocked by Callus there, that sets up BigManTingz for the kill. No way Twig could escape without having any beads there, and Blink not being up just yet, and obviously being in combat. eUnited take back the kill lead, but not the goal lead just yet.
Only level 2 on Batz, so he didn't have access to his somersault jump. Arkkyl almost dying to iceicebaby's aggression at the purple buff. Doesn't want to give this up quite yet. And CaptainTwig started with the monkey bounce, and then he goes for the overhand smash. Sometimes it's actually worth getting that somersault jump. It does a decent amount of damage anyway. There's a lot of kill potential there. Not only that, the defensive measures cannot be denied.
So with the experience difference between the teams right now, it looks all even on the scorecard. Just a little bit of a difference between iceicebaby and CaptainTwig with how the beginning of this game began. Both jugglers have made an impact though, and that's quite important. We've been saying how the first 3 games of this set so far has been dictated from the jungler's position. Seems to be that both are going for this game too.
And none of the games have been more evident about jungle presence as opposed to game 2. That Kali versus Mercury matchup favoring out iceicebaby once he was able to get a couple of those early kills. BBM body blocking using his big tree trunks to absorb some of the shots out of eUnited to ensure those left side mid camps.
And that's all the key though, is don't let them secure it, and using your body in the waist prevents the hammer throw, which is one of the limitations that Fafnir can have because it will stop on guard interaction. Right hand side, fineokay, getting the pressure going in this lane against the King Arthur early on. This all really began because of the start of the game, but the blue buff is stolen away as Callus makes the rotation in, finds the hammer onto Twig. Pressure relieved for now.
Good rotation from Rival to make sure that they clear the solo lane and then look for the blue buff invade. Now right side mid camp's going to get contested over, both of them going the way of Rival.
Shouts to having those little souls back on the map again for a minute or two.
Oh yes.
Because the colour difference is really, really helpful in the grand scheme of things. It's only a 300 gold separation between the two teams, give or take. It is just the first blood difference and that bounty, which is something that sometimes we talk about, sometimes we don't, but in this situation, the fact that Arkkyl now has 4 boots online is a big swing.
It is a big swing, but the fact that he died earlier gives Emilito a huge advantage, being able to hit level 5. He has the fire shards. It's not necessarily the most damage in the world quite yet out of Emilito, but it's also about the vision control from the axis of this ultimate. iceicebaby needs some farm anywhere he can get it, so he's going to share a wave.
Emilito's really trying to prove a point, I feel, coming into this season so far. This is only his second set playing under eUnited and back into the Pro League. But what we've seen of him so far, Tully, has been he's willing to rotate consistently. He's willing to pick these gods that are going to make an impact and use his ultimate across the map to help influence things. Or if he's playing Kronos, run over there and give things up.
So he's definitely not afraid to make certain plays. That style has not been lost for his absence, but what has been lost in his absence is his defensive side, his ability to recognize danger and adapt to that danger quick enough. Yesterday, it was very evident against Pittsburgh Knights, where he was a little bit slow on some of the defensive relics, dying unnecessarily several times. And even today, I think that he's not really respecting the true potential. Even like this first blood today, on this game number 4, Emilito could have used those speeds way earlier to prevent that knockup.
Ultimate out on the right-hand side on to poor old fineokay, but he's fine for the time being because he's got support from Rival, who all rotated around for this blue buff invade. PandaCat, PolarBearMike, and Twig have got Callus in a bit of a predicament here, but it is Fafnir, so after all, he can ult away if he needs to buy himself a moment for a collapse. Rival did the damage they wanted, though, in stripping away the blue buff and fall back to their own half of the map.
And if Benji's not getting that blue buff, that's going to hurt him. He can't really contest out fineokay that's rushing this Breastplate of Valor, already sitting at silver breastplate. So he has 35 physical protections, lot of MP5 and mana to really work with. And once that gets completed for the 20% CDR, Benji is not really going to win this matchup.
Different style of play this time for PolarBearMike on this Sylvanus. He's going to be sitting on the back line a lot looking for pulls, but more importantly, using the ultimates defensively for the aggression out of iceicebaby as this game goes on. I expect him to babysit his carries a little bit on the back line here this game, PolarBearMike, looking to protect PandaCat more than anybody else.
That's how you have to play with fineokay playing the Artio, trying to cripple out anybody in the front. Benji's not going to be able to really get in there with that cripple minefield. This Artio pick after secondary ban phase is such an important counter towards the King Arthur that got first picked, and that was very strategical out of Rival. When they were second pick, they knew eUnited was going to go for first pick, so they decided to give up both Arthur and Merlin, that way they could get one or the other. And even if eUnited had Merlin, they probably, Rival would have had a counter for that as well.
Why is Artio seeing less play overall in solo lane, Tolly? What was the reason for that? Was that to do with the Totemakoo and pressure over there?
Not really, because Artio still has early enough pressure once she gets a couple of levels to control that Totemakoo if she really wants to. And all three goes the way of Rival, also because they had rotations. So that kind of helps out the early game Artio weaknesses. But honestly, it might have been like a lost, forgotten art where Achilles was more popular,
sure.
Bologna's risen, and now out of nowhere, Osiris is into the mix. I think Artio is going to start to rise.
Stun from fineokay. We just watched this whole fight develop on the right-hand side slowly but surely. fineokay used, but Benji's still alive thanks to Gladiator's shield, and now with iceicebaby here, it's fineokay in a bit of trouble. Needs to transform relatively soon. New war ult to the fray, but the sustain from PolarBearMike was there if required, and not a ton of damage on the new war ult just yet.
Now PBM still having his ultimate. If he can catch Benji, maybe, but fineokay not the healthiest Artio quite yet to go back in. I don't expect PBM to fire the trigger on that ultimate yet. iceicebaby looking for the Totemakoo, not going to wrap around. Blue buff due to respawn in less than 30 seconds. Rival need to secure it for fineokay.
You can start to see what's happening here. There's both teams trying to pressure solo a little bit, but I don't think there's really kill potential there. That was Benji taking an ultimate from fineokay for a full channel too. They didn't have the damage. Maybe with an extra couple of teammates they have a chance. Ultimate from Benji onto his former teammate PolarBearMike, but an ult will turn that back around. Callus re-engaging, however. The damage is good from eUnited, but not good enough to secure a kill.
No one is dying on this right side of the map. This is hilarious. PBM with the sustain, able to really top himself off alongside fineokay. Those reinforced shoes coming off big for the Sylvanus that's taken a lot of damage over time.
I don't think we'll see many more engages over there. And the one thing that's happened because of all that fighting on the right-hand side is with emilitoooooo using the ultimate in that engagement to try and provide some pressure. Arkkyl had a bit of lane dominance there for a moment or two, and has been able to pressure consistently and catch up and actually ahead and experience it.
That's something that is impossible to deny from a Jingwei. Whenever Jingwei is not pressured and she backs on her own terms, she's min-maxing that back to also farm the backcamps whenever she wants to.
Benji's on enemy territory and stealing away a blue buff. 3v1 now. Doing his best variety impressions. He looks for the kill on fineokay. But CaptainTwig's having none of that. fineokay comes to the fray. Big old heal needed and was there, but Benji will still pick up a kill. The new warrel was also used, not really needed towards the tail end, as Benji bit off a bit more than he could chew. Was it worth the kill, Tolly? Was it really worth it?
It was worth the kill because he also got the blue buff. The only problem I'm seeing is that his teleport is still on cooldown for 50 seconds, as opposed to fineokay being able to get back into the lane. But fineokay not with Breastplate of Valor completed, so he's going to probably maybe even save his teleport just to go back to base, knowing Benji's also walking.
Yeah, potentially. Instead, he's going to go for a different option, invest in a bit of magical protection here, a bit more power for himself too. I think Benji's over-aggression there wasn't needed more than anything else. He'd already done the damage of the blue buff. He wanted the kill, but I don't think it was really worthwhile, especially if you think about it, he did potentially have Nuwa waiting for him.
Sure, but what's funny about Benji taking that fight is the more people you're against, the better it is for Arthur to proc multiple Gladiator shield, and fineokay didn't really have much mana to play with, and considering Benji picked up that blue buff, he's the one with the CDR and the mana to keep doing things.
Mike was hiding like a tree in the jungle, but instead the jungle got aggressive towards him as the clay minions came in. But the fact is, iceicebaby got aggressive onto that, and CaptainTwig was there before anybody else in eUnited.
I'm not sure if Iceice knew CaptainTwig was there, still aggressing towards the purple buff. Going to be hard to aggress with BigManTingz around this corner. It has been secured by emilitoooooo, still trying to finish off that Book of Thoth on the left side. Meanwhile, while still slapping each other silly on the right.
So you're ever going to see in the grand scheme of things. I'm just keeping on that XP per minute on the left-hand side. That lead so far for Jing Wei is getting bigger and bigger, I've noticed, over time. In terms of just experience gained per minute, shows the level discrepancies are going to start to develop. As Emilito just doing his best to farm up, get his Book of Thoth online, so he can start stacking that one up.
That could be a lot of damage from Emilito now that I'm thinking about it, onto PBM in the late game, because it's not just Emilito, it's also going to be Callus's damage onto PBM. So he's getting physical defense on the Sylvanus and also the Lotus Crown to get a little bit of extra protections, but he needs to also think late terms of the magical damage.
And you talk about the Lotus Crown, I do like the pickup here, especially the protections you're getting from that heal, going to be impactful, especially against Emilito. If he hits a teammate with a heal, they're going to get some extra magical defense, which will help them against the damage coming from a new wall.
Especially the multiple damage sources from Benji. Benji's spamming his abilities, so not only is the Wisps going to provide the sustain that you need, but the protections with the Lotus Crown, the extra 20 protections per Benji ability.
But notice as well how Rival have invested pretty heavily into magical, healing reduction more than anything else here. Brawler's Beatsick and Divine Ruin online already. They're aware that iceicebaby and Pele could be a problem, but they're also aware that Benji, with the Gladiator Shield, that could be nullified a little bit from some of this anti-heal.
They definitely could also get a Cursed Ankh onto fineokay if they want to, maybe onto PBM if he opts for it. I would be surprised if he doesn't go for the Blink, however. Pestilence could be another third option, but who goes for it? fineokay, maybe PBM. Wouldn't be surprised to see it onto both, actually.
Much better game for eUnited, though. They're not thousands of gold down at this point in time. It's only 1,000 differential between the two. However, Gold Fury is looming at the moment. It's starting to get to that period of time where the Gold Fury is a real potential takeaway if a team leaves it exposed.
Callus can easily help his team burn it with that Coerce, especially in the Draconic form. But also Rival can do the same with his PandaCat and Arkkyl damage.
Arkkyl still getting aggressive on this left-hand side, and he got a crit, and Emilito did not like that. The Gust was on point, but the Aegis was nicely timed to realize it was coming. Now the turnaround plays here, though, as Arkkyl got aggressive. The rotation from Callus and iceicebaby, and Callus is trying to hide. Don't know if Arkkyl saw it. It won't really matter too much. The collapse is still there, but it did force Iceice's ultimate at least to get the kill.
It did, but still better safe than sorry to get the kill. CaptainTwig using that ultimate, trying to lock down Benji in a 1v3. Not able to find the kill, but this opens the door for a Gold Fury on the left.
Don't forget with a new wall there, it does get shredded relatively quick. The clay minions can help tank if even if required. Great window from eUnited created there. That was Arkyl's pressure that turns into focus towards Benji and a counter gank that turns into a Gold Fury.
And Jing Wei making the play the way Arkkyl did, I like it. The fact that the airstrike wasn't used offensively under the tier 1 tower. Persistent Gust forces out the Aegis just barely out of Emilito, but covering the option was both iceicebaby and Callus. It just wasn't enough. The agility to get away.
You mentioned Emilito, you were worried about his relic usage and like his positioning. Well there, he was very defensive.
On point.
For the most part. The Aegis was the best timed Aegis you could ask for because he stayed alive, and then the amount of bait onto Arkkyl caused so many problems. PolarBearMike could have been pressured there by that swarm, but will escape danger for the time being.
Big man missing the Stinger. Probably stopped the rest of his team for looking for that kill. He has a lot of damage now.
He does.
Almost finishing off what I expect to be a Brawler's beat stick.
Crusher boys on that one, I think.
I mean, against the Sylvanus.
You're right, against the Sylvanus.
A lot of dots between the bees and the honey.
And a monkey toss into danger from Twig there as he jumps to it to see what happens. See if he can burn a relic or an ability. Didn't happen to be the case. He'll just somersault back.
Okay, Brawler's onto iceicebaby, so maybe Crusher onto Big Man unless they want to double stack it up.
I'm more just looking at the fact he's got no attack speed at the moment, right?
That's true.
So Crusher gives you that little bit of attack speed that will help out, and Honey Swarm, useful.
So now that Iceice has Brawlers, yes, Crusher is being picked up by Big Man.
I wouldn't be surprised to see one, though. I think you're right there. Another Brawlers could be useful.
Yeah, maybe iceicebaby could have went for the Pestilence and then allow Big Man to go for the Brawler speed stick, but I think Benji is the one picking up the Pestilence later.
iceicebaby trying to gank Arkkyl. Instead, he meets the full wrath of CaptainTwig's Fear No Evil, and Arkkyl says, thank you very much, jungler, for ganking. I've not seen that in my ranked games, but in my main games, I will.
CaptainTwig looking for maybe another kill onto Emilito, knowing that his Aegis is still down for 25 seconds. You know that timer is still there at the back of Rival's head. Still lingering around this corner is CaptainTwig. Spots out Callus, overhand smashing for a little bit of poke damage. More interested in this purple buff.
They will strip the purple away, and more importantly, it's interesting to see Arkkyl stay aggressive in this lane, stay pressuring it. After the last little skirmish that happened where he nearly got that kill on Emilito, sometimes it can put you on a bit of a back foot of like, okay, I went too aggressive there, which he did, but he was so close that I can completely understand him going back to it again.
And as a level 16 Jing, 1 level advantage over Emilito, his lifesteal should allow him to win those trades.
Good hammer, good rotation from Emilito too, and that will get the beads out of CaptainTwig, who somersaults away to safety. Arkkyl's out of there too. New War in the sky to get vision of what's going on, and that gives enough time for iceicebaby to close the gap and take him down, but Arkkyl removes him very quickly in response.
Callus getting pulled in to allow the stun, but no one else to really follow up onto PBM. Jungler for jungler at the end of the day there. No Fury available quite yet. BigMan going to zone away Arkkyl from rotating on the left side. Meanwhile, Emilito going to rotate for this Pyromancer.
Yeah, this Pyro should be done a little bit quicker, I felt like. I felt like it should be a faster rotation, but instead, Tingz will clear the way first of all. With new War, clay minions, and of course the bees coming into play, this should be a Pyromancer for eUnited at least.
Absolutely free. eUnited all over the place objectively this game, because normally it's been Rival forcing some of the objectives so far this set.
But I think that's to do with the purple and the red being stripped by Rival on the left-hand side that developed into that Pyro, right? It was the re-aggression from eUnited. So all in all, it kind of evens out.
That's true. Rival had to play retreat as far as possible. All the AoE damage from BigMan starting to spread and show its true usefulness. The Crusher synergy with the bees and the honey, it was slowly chipping away out of Rival's health bar. PBM having to back. Without that frontline presence, difficult to contest a Pyromancer.
And the one thing I'm noticing from eUnited's composition here is we talk about, well, I talk a lot about defense on Sieging and Sieging. New War and AMC are probably two of the greatest at clearing waves at Phoenix lines. Honey and Swarm, nice long range. And then you've got New War that can throw out minions if needed, or the Fog, which just slowly lingers and kills everything.
Benji not going to get pressured by CaptainTwig, and the defensive measures for Rival still possible as well. PandaCat on the Merlin has plenty of space control. Arkkyl can put you in a bad spot if you walk over that persistent gust. So it's not going to be easy for either side to really siege, but this game, all in all, 18 minutes in, is essentially even.
Definitely see a difference in builds though on this Merlin. We saw BigManTingz pilot it earlier on today. He went for the Gem of Isolation at this spot, whereas PandaCat going to go for the Shaman's Ring. Clearly, Shaman's Ring is makes sense because he's a very combo-orientated character, Merlin. So many abilities that you're going to get bonus damage for the next one you connect.
Not only that, the 10% movement speed is good to be able to either get closer to your individual target or further away from whoever is diving you. So I like this item, and I also like this in the third slot to build up the stacks early.
Clay minions tanking it up for days. Only Fury dropping very low. PolarBearMike and Arkkyl have to get here soon. Resets are a little bit trickier though for eUnited using clay minions like that. Those clay minions keep them in combat, but in mid lane, Benji gets a nice pick on CaptainTwig at a very opportune time. He was late on the rotation over to this fight, but it works out beautifully for eUnited to be in a 4v5 here.
Ooh, the pull from PBM not on the mark there, and now they're going to have to try to face check to see what this Oni Fury health bar is at. Sitting at less than 50% health, Callus forced to jump away, but eUnited, they still have a 5-on-4 if they want to take this fight.
Yeah, but they've just been slowed down by Callus being low there, and Callus doesn't really want to use the transformation, so he'll fall back to base. There's 10 seconds left on Twig respawning, but remember, the one thing you saw at the tail end of CaptainTwig dying there was the Fear No Evil being used, so that won't even be available for the next fight. Although, eUnited with a bit of a roping up there.
Having a very easy target selection. That tier 1 mid tower not going to get defended by Rival. They're kind of bouncing back and forth between that Oni Fury and only 10% CDR with CaptainTwig on the Hydra's Lament, so that ultimate going to be up in 40 seconds.
Wrapping round the back, gets spotted. That was Callus leaps over the wall too. Mike fully collapsed on and knocked up by iceicebaby with the ultimate there, but Mike gets back towards the mid lane safely as Benji gets pulled all the way back into a terrible danger, and that was all down to PolarBearMike, but Arkkyl in trouble.
Where is he going to land? Right on top of him is Callus. The egg is going to buy him a moment. iceicebaby trying to wrap her out, but it's too little, too late before Callus ultimately falls.
iceicebaby trying to chase up to Arkkyl, and Arkkyl realizes he can't get away, so tries to trade the trade. Doesn't work out in the end. The collapse onto Mike was good. However, that pull on Benji was a big
thing. What are you doing? He teleports in because he has the ultimate. Using the Aegis, Emilito trying to survive as long as possible. BigManTingz not enough to save the life of his hunter.
What a day to be fineokay. He's kind of walks up to this fight and drops the ability, the cripple field more than anything else, and is like, okay, I'll pick up 3 kills in this engagement. Thanks, guys.
I can't believe CaptainTwig lived there. He actually monkey teleports in, gets CC'd, almost dies, but he got off the Fear No Evil, which was enough for the rest of his teammates to play cleanup.
And we talked about that in the first couple of games, Tolly, how Twig is quite willing to die for the sacrifice of his team if it means they'll get a victory. And all in all, that victory really is there. They lose a tier 1 in mid, but that fight ensures this Oni Fury is going to go to rival now. It's a little bit more gold. It won't make that tier 1 in mid going down as bad. But the fact they lose the tier 1 and left as well does keep eUnited in control of the gold lead.
Barely, though. 500 gold at 21 minutes in is nothing really to write home about. PBM going to look for something onto BigManTingz. A good route out of fineokay. Still pressuring forward with the Wisps. Big Man going to back off, respecting the Merlin damage. Rival get important relics out of Big Man.
Yeah, the beats being down, and then the Aegis after that. So a staggered situation where now Twig, with his ultimate coming back up soon on this Hun Batz, could be looking for BigManTingz as a prime target. Expect to see United position a little bit further back now with the amount of relic situations being down there. And maybe PandaCat could get a bit aggressive right now.
eUnited ping out the left side mini-map, recognizing that Oni Fury wave is going to start barreling down that tier 1 tower if no one goes to defend, and that's why emilitoooooo making that rotation happen. Pyromancer is available, and that could be where rivals strike next.
Yeah, but a couple of wards down here that'll have to be cleared out. Arkkyl does that and then pulls that Pyromancer. Benji clearing out mid lane, emilitoooooo on the left-hand side. eUnited respectfully disagree with engaging and defending the Pyromancer, and rightfully so. Instead, it's just going to keep the farm going, and experience-wise, it's relatively even this game.
I really feel as though eUnited missed a huge opportunity after what Benji did to CaptainTwig under that tier 1 mid tower. They couldn't really stay on the Oni Fury wave, and that's problematic when you're not getting a power play with a 5-on-4 advantage.
No, you're right. They didn't find anything. I think Callus just got poked out too much.
He did.
And that was, I think he had a situation of, do I transform and use my abilities to help burst the Fury and take this 4-on-5, or recall to base, we go again with the Fear No Evil being down.
Even being half health, if you could just stay in the backline using the Coerce, transforming into the AoE Coerce, boosting out emilitoooooo and Big Man's numbers on that Oni Fury might have been the tipping point to control that objective, because ultimately Rival were able to get back into it once CaptainTwig did revive and had that Fear No Evil ultimate back available.
9-7 as it stands. Rival barreling down the mid lane as a 5-man unit here. They've got a minion wave with them. BigManTingz falls back relatively quickly, expecting that there's going to be no defense out of eUnited here. Because iceicebaby's on the left-hand side trying to get a bit of farm. On the right, Benji's been doing the same thing.
They're just split pushing left and right. Mid tier 1 does crumble. Rival rotating towards the right side.
I like it.
An ambitious 23-minute fire giant. 3 players to play defense. iceicebaby rotating from the left.
Sneaky Callus, sneaky Callus on emilitoooooo, but Fear No Evil onto BigManTingz. Remember, no beats, no Aegis, no life. Arkkyl credited with the kill. After the fact, emilitoooooo ducks back down into a worse spot than ever. And Mike says, where you going, son? Get back over here. Next on the list is Callus as he's run down by fineokay, something in place. And Arkkyl getting himself a delayed double kill. It's only iceicebaby and Benji to play defense at the fire giant now.
That whole team fight, eUnited was running down south and iceicebaby was still traveling from the north side, so he couldn't get an angle or position to look for anything. Now, 2 versus 5. Rival are not the completely healthy bunch that they want to be. This could be a delay tactic.
Benji's doing a good job of that. fineokay going to continue to chase to slow that down. iceicebaby slips the net at the backside though. Rival gets the fire giant. iceicebaby looking for a kill. He might get some damage on Panda. It's not going to be enough. So at the end of the day, another member of eUnited falls. And with 5 members strong, Rival are in control.
Artio, the hard counter to Arthur. Benji had no way to get through fineokay in that last one. If Benji was there, maybe they clean up a couple of Rival members, but in a 1v1 down south and in a 4-on-1 up against iceicebaby, that Pele stood no chance of doing anything.
fineokay going to attack the Phoenix, get the clay minion aggro, and the stun that follows up. Callus stunned in place by fineokay and has to lead to safety as the Merlin damage comes through too. Fear No Evil, prevented by the beads of BigManTingz, pushes Rival back, and eUnited are here on defense now, and the damage is getting good for them. They're holding their own.
fineokay barely able to survive, barely healing. Big Man going to get taken out alongside emilitoooooo. Benji and Callus to play defense. iceicebaby respawning in 3 seconds. fineokay Fineokay has teleport available. He's upgraded it. I think Rival were considering to end, but instead gonna play it safe. There's still 3 towers. That would have been a very risky call.
Totally, it felt like eUnited got baited into fighting there because fineokay was so low in health, you know? You saw BigManTingz pushing forward, just trying to get the killing blow.
They're going for it.
And in the end, fineokay ends up living, teleporting back in with the Fire Giant. Frenzy popped. Frenzy means go, and Rival are looking to close the set.
They're gonna end it. It's a 3-1. Just like that, Rival feeling hyped up.
Couple of mistakes from eUnited towards the end there that come back to haunt them. The game may not have ended in that situation. A couple of decisions were made, but overall there was a very good couple of pulls out of Mike there in that game on Sylvanus that made the tipping point happen. But overall, great performance from Rival today. Still things to work on, however.
I like that team huddle. I totally agree with you because you could tell the faces of Rival after even winning that first game. There were still a lot of question marks of how they can clean up sieges a little bit better because that game was 38 minutes long in game number 1. It could have been an easy 25-minute game instead. They were up about 12,000 gold at 19 minutes in game number 3. A huge advantage for all of the winning games out of Rival, looking so clean.
Now with how that game went on as well, I think eUnited's one game that they won, they look good and it shows what they can bring to the table. I do feel this team has a lot to work on though in the grand scheme of things. The 3 games Rival won all look very dominant.
They did, and eUnited had a very easy start to Season 6 thus far. Their last 2 sets that they lost this week alone towards Rival and now Pittsburgh Knights yesterday were their most difficult opponents. So they got to go back to the drawing board and figure out if they have to adapt to their own style or work more towards figuring out your opponents and using their own weight against them.
I guess that's a good way of looking at it. With emilitoooooo just joining this week, his first games are against 2 high-priority teams. So, you know, you work on what most you need to work on overall. Let's go to the deso and break down set 1 before we move on to set 2.
Thanks, Hindu. And what a set it was, at least if you're a fan of Team Rival. A big win for them to come out 3-1 on top of eUnited. And I think Aggro, in some ways, this was expected, but I kind of want to hear, you know, not just your breakdown for Game 4, but, I mean, I guess like your eUnited report card, right? You said these were their 2 tests, Professor Aggro. How'd they do?
They failed.
There you go.
They failed. I mean,
Sure.
if your argument is our eUnited is a top team that is, you know, among the best in the league, you had your chance against the 2 of the best, and you won one game.
That's right. Yeah, they were 1-6. Right?
1-6. That's a failing grade by my estimation. Some of those games were close, particularly against Pittsburgh Knights. Today, the losing games really weren't.
Right.
Yesterday against Pittsburgh Knights, despite the 3-0, they had some close ones. They clearly showed that they can beat the top team. It is physically capable for them to do it. But I think a lot of things need to go right. I think that picks and banning phase for Game 2 in this set for Rival was clearly not very good.
No.
And so they got away with one, and they punished them, and you have to be able to do that. But clearly eUnited still needs a lot. They need to start doing some extra credit work, double brooking some scrims, all that kind of stuff, and try and get back into the right frame of mind because they are clearly not right now a top team. And let me be clear, that's not a problem. You know what I mean? I mean, we're in week 8.
6 go to the mid-season invitational, right? And I think they're top 6 for sure.
Exactly. So that's okay. And your world championships aren't coming up right now. It's not a bad thing for eUnited to not be a top team right now. And I'm not saying that they don't have that potential to be a top team. But if the assessment was, are they one of the best in the league on this day, then the answer is no.
I think so. Well, that's the prognosis then from Dr. Aggro. I made you a professor and a doctor, I guess.
Wow, I am quite
accomplished,
aren't I?
But yeah, but we could talk about this Game 4 specifically because Rival made the big gamble play that I talked about heading into this, right? Where they let through a top pick, and the top pick this time was the King Arthur. And I think they handled it to some extent, but what they did is that they proved that it's not just an insta-win by itself. Even though I think Benji did play it well, it wasn't as if Team Rival couldn't get pressure elsewhere or couldn't find ways to manage around it or still win this game. I mean, even you were saying that maybe it's the Merlin that should be prioritized even ahead of the King Arthur. And at least in this game, that looked to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, Benji had a great impact in this one.
I think so, too.
And I don't think you come away from this saying, if we pick Merlin instead of Arthur, we win this game. That is the big difference. I think the moral of the story is we can't trade top picks in situations like this against a team like Rival is more of the moral than which top pick they ended up going with. I mean, PandaCat had an impact, sure. 2-1-10 was pretty low on the player damage charts. I think Mike had another phenomenal set in support. This Sylvanus was a nightmare for eUnited to deal with. Twig has another pretty good game on the Hun Batz. fineokay looks good on the Artio. Arkkyl might have his best game of the set, this time on the Jing. Just another good team performance from Rival. And I think the moral is, again, less we should have gone Merlin instead of Arthur, and more, we shouldn't be trading Arthur and Merlin with a team like Rival.
And I think that the glue for this team was CaptainTwig on the EUN bots. It was so strong for them when he picked it last time as well, that fear no evil, because he was behind iceicebaby basically the whole game. But in terms of impact, the one using the fear no evil was the one that had the bigger impact. Even though Ice was making early rotations and finding some nice kills and all of that stuff was happening, he was spreading the team fight out. He was setting up picks for the rest of his team. I think that part of it was that CaptainTwig, despite being behind, was able to still play really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that and that's the benefit that we always talk about with on Batz, is that no matter how far behind you are, you're going to have the opportunity to make a big ultimate happen. Look at the damage mitigated stat real quick. 44,000 for fineokay.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
Well, a lot of that is King Arthur, right? Damage, like spinning all over him. But
sure,
yes.
That's still 44,000 player damage that he mitigated in these team fights. I mean, he just felt unkillable. The anti-heal was there a little bit. iceicebaby had a Brawler's Beat Stick, I know, but still, you needed a lot of anti-heal going up against this particular composition. I'm pretty sure Tingz went Transcendence into Boots into Crusher, and that's really, really good on AMC. That's a great core 3, but when Sylvanus and Artio on the other team, that Crusher needs to be a Brawler's Beat Stick. I think Tingz didn't prioritize anti-heal heavily enough yesterday, and the same thing bites them today.
And it really felt like, because you already highlighted earlier how well PolarBearMike played, like he had permataunt on or something, right? Like, eUnited could not get over this obsession with trying to kill PBM wherever he was on the map and being willing to all-in him. It happened in the game where he played Ares earlier, back towards game 1. It happened here again on the Sylvanus. He did not ever die, despite their best efforts.
No, and that fight where the game kind of breaks wide open, we had an opportunity to see a replay of that, where he hits the sick pull onto Benji after he's getting away. But that whole fight starts with no one from rival jerseys around Mike. He's full health as Sylvanus on bottom left mids, and they just all-in commit onto him. And he goes, oh, okay.
Alrighty.
And then he gets a Lotus Crown heal, wisps himself, has a million prots, knocks you up, deals damage to you, and then walks to his team, and they win the fight. I mean, target selection, clearly a problem. The level 1 grouping from eUnited makes no sense to me at all.
That's right. They did that level 1 fight.
That was a horrible decision from them to group up as 5 and try and take any surprise fight there, because if rivals grouped, they lose that unequivocally, and we saw it happen. I mean, Arkkyl got off to a big lead just because he got that first blood, but it was also 4 assists across the entire team of rivals, so they had plenty of extra golden experience just to start the game because eUnited made a bad mistake.
Yeah, it's too bad. We almost didn't even get to see the emilitoooooo on even ground because of that, right? Because he took that early spill right from the beginning of the game.
It never gets to even ground. It's only even ground when the other hunter hits 20 and then Emilito also hits 20. That's when the even ground happens.
And they're no longer trading autos in lane, right?
Exactly.
Like, that's never going to work.
5 on 5 is where that wants to be. If the game ending at 26 minutes or whatever is exactly where New ADC struggles a lot.
All right, well, a big win comes in for Team Rival, and I'm sure the boys are in great spirits. I understand we have them standing by for an interview. It's PandaCat and PBM.
We're here live with Rival after their victory over eUnited today. Congratulations, boys, first of all. Real questions about the set. How do you feel about your performance throughout the set as a team?
I think we're happy with our performance for the most of the games. Game 2, like, we had some misplays that unfortunately ended up costing us the game, but overall, I'm happy with how we played. I don't know how Mike feels.
Yeah, I feel pretty much the same. I felt like, other than game 2, we had a pretty good set. I think game 2 was kind of just on me. I missed a lot of opportunities that, like, in scrims and stuff, if I hit that stuff and, like, if I just played a little better, we maybe could have won. And then I ended up making a Fire Giant call that was kind of, like, really ballsy, and it didn't work out. And so I felt like I kind of lost my team the game.
So for this set, PBM, question to you. You went for a lot of aggressive supports between the Ares, Hercules, Fafnir, and then you went for a defensive Sylvanus. What's the mental thought process throughout a set? Was this basically against an eUnited or more catering towards your own identity?
I feel like I just pretty much want to be flexible based on whatever my team wants. In the first game, I think they had Vulcan and Terra, and I felt like I had a really good opportunity to get fed that game, which I did. I think I got first blood, and we got a bunch of early kills. And then the Hurt game, we were just kind of trying to play for Snowball, which didn't work out because I messed up, like I said. And then I pretty much just picked the Sylv because it looked like they had a lot of single target CC, I think. And I felt like had I been able to, like, heal our team up and play through sustain a little bit against the New I felt like it would have been pretty good.
Pat, a quick question for you, honestly. This season, you've kind of grown into this mid lane, and your name's coming up more and more as the season progresses and as you've established yourself in this role. How have you found it? You seeing the growth? Are you expecting it as much of a challenge as it has been, or has it been quite simple?
I I mean, I kind of expected to do well eventually in the role. Like I've said it before, I didn't think I'd do as well as I did right away, but I mean, the challenges, I don't think any team has been super challenging, but I mean, I've been learning, I've been quickly learning at that, and I think like I'm just going at a steady pace until I can't get any better. That's pretty much it.
Game 1, you guys had a great early game advantage, but it took you a while to clean up that game on the Phoenix Sieges. What is it about that first game that made it so grindy for you guys to end it?
That was my fault. When I got rat dunked in left, and like I like panicked because I was trying to ult the rat dunk, but then I like pressed something on my keyboard, and instead of pressing Beads Aegis, I got like insta one shot by Vulcan ult, and that was just my fault. Like if I Beads Aegis there, I take rat ult and Vulcan ult and whatever else they use, and we just win.
Same thing happened to Kenny. We did like a Fire Giant fight like 3 minutes later or something. Exact same thing happened. He just kind of went too hard and then got rat ulted and got killed. Yeah.
Real final question, honestly, boys. You guys seem to be very open about the mistakes you've made to the public as well. Do you reckon that's a good sign for a team to do that? I mean, like, be straight up and honest. Is it making the team as a whole work better because of it?
Yeah, I feel like Pete, our coach Slaney, gets on us a little bit in scrims because he says that we never feel hyped or excited. And it's because I think that we're constantly harping on mistakes that we make to try to improve to the extent where like it almost seems like we're really down in scrims, which isn't really the case. So I think we're just kind of trying to learn for the long haul. I still feel like we're getting better every single week. I was actually the one who like had the idea for him to roll swap to mid, and I thought we were going to tank the split a little bit, and he's played like better than I ever would have thought he would right away, and I feel like where we are now compared to where we expected to be is so much better than I could have hoped for, so I'm really excited moving forward.
Absolute pleasure to watch you play again today and interview as well. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks.
The SMITE Pro League brought to you by Titan Forge, Hi-Res Studios, INAP, Respawn, Steel Series, Alienware, Skillshot.